Hi Wildcats! Today we're going to be working on week 21, spelling and vocabulary. These words will still relate to Hattie Big Sky, so you will see these words popping up in chapters 4, 5, and beyond. So the assignment for today is going to be a shorter assignment than what I've given you in the past. So I want you to go back to writing a sentence for each word, and you will type those sentences on the Google document that will be attached to this assignment. So you'll need to watch this video, and you will also need to do the Google Doc assignment. If you want your sentences to relate and tell some sort of story, you can, but they do not have to. Here are my expectations for your sentences. So I want complete sentences to be used. This means a capital at the beginning, subject, predicate, and correct end punctuation. So period in most circumstances, question mark if it's a question, exclamation point if it's something really exciting. You want to use all 10 vocabulary words correctly, so the goal is correctness. Please do not copy your classmates or me as your teacher. So you can do this. I know you can do your own work. Take a look at my examples, but don't copy them. And school sentences should be appropriate. Rubric. So you get 10 points for complete sentences, 10 points that each vocab word is used correctly. So essentially those two categories are 1 point per word, or 1 point per sentence. And then finally, sentences use specific names, details, and are creative. So I want you to get away from using pronouns like he, she, it. Try to give me a specific name of a person or example, and be creative. Make sure you're using that word in context. You don't want to just say something like, I don't know what the word gumption means. So that is not using the word in context. It's not creative. So make sure you're being more creative than that and actually making an attempt to use the word in a knowledgeable sense. All right, that's worth 25. All right, in case you forgot, here's the word format or slide format that I'm using. So there'll be the word, part of speech, definition, and then in like a pinkish color, there are 2 example sentences. The first word is coulee. It is a noun, and this is a geographic feature. So it's a small or shallow valley. That means it goes down kind of towards a V or a U shape that is usually created over time by moving water. The ones that you're going to see in the book, the coulees, are in Montana. That's where Hattie has headed. And you are going to see that they have been created by glacier ice over time. So if you look into that, there's a few YouTube videos out there that talk about coulees and their creation. A lot of times they were caused by glacier ice, and they're quite large, and they're actually kind of more a box shaped than they are V-shaped like a valley. Okay, the coulee no longer held any water. It had all dried up hundreds of years ago. Or B, thousands of wildflowers flourished in the Montana coulee. Starch is a noun, and we're not talking about starch that's in food. We're talking about starch that would be firm, energetic determination. So make sure you're using it the correct way in your sentence. So for example, Carnegie's starch was evident in all the articles he wrote concerning abolishing the British monarchy. So here we're using starch to mean he's determined, okay, and he has an energetic determination or a passionate determination to stop the British monarchy, which, by the way, obviously did not happen. B, some days Jana felt like she did not have enough starch to finish her novel. So she's feeling like she doesn't have enough determination to finish her novel. Hearth. Hearth can actually refer to the fireplace itself in a home, or it could mean the floor in front of the fireplace and underneath where the logs would go, or electric logs, etc. So for example, Philippa grabbed her favorite book of poetry off the shelf and she pulled her chair closer to the hearth. In that sense, kind of meaning more the fireplace in general. Or B, Derek specifically asked for a marble hearth, but his builder installed a ceramic hearth instead. This would be more referring to the floor and the inside casing of a fireplace. Reservoir is a noun, and it's a part of an appliance or object where some sort of liquid is held. It usually is water, but doesn't have to be water. So for example, Elijah cleaned the water reservoir of the Keurig machine and then refilled it. So if any of you have a Keurig machine, you know that there's a little container that holds water and the water feeds through the machine and then through your coffee or tea or whatever it is that you're making and comes out into your glass. Or B, Liza put some finish gel on the dishwasher's reservoir before running it. So perhaps you have a dishwasher that has a little container that you open and you put some sort of liquid or maybe a capsule in there for the reservoir, and then you close it and then it starts running. Gyrate is a verb. By the way, it's going to be used as gyration, the noun form in the book, but I wanted to show you the more usable form of this, which is gyrate as a verb, which is more likely how you're going to hear it in life. So it means to move back and forth with a circular motion. And it doesn't have to be a person necessarily, it can be an object too. So I gave you an example of both. If any of you have ever tried a hula hoop before, you know that you must gyrate well in order to have any fun with that hula hoop. Or else it's just going to keep falling to the ground, and that's not very fun. And B, Henry watched the KitchenAid mixer while it was gyrating, so spinning in a circular motion, and mixing together this cookie dough. Comrade is a noun, and its pretty simple definition, it means a fellow soldier. So for example, Mitchell carried his wounded comrade or fellow soldier to safety. Or B, Griffith fought bravely next to 4 of his comrades or fellow soldiers in the trenches during World War I. Vanity is a noun, and it's something that shows one has, here's the key here, too much pride in oneself or one's appearance. So you might think it shows that you have some arrogance or boastfulness. So for example, Trina posted selfies every day, which is a sure sign of her vanity. So that shows she's got too much pride in her appearance. Frederick was usually a humble person, but his one vanity was his athleticism. He was always bragging about his skills on the court. So he has too much pride in his athleticism and becomes boastful or arrogant. Sledge is also a simple word, sort of like comrade. It's a strong, heavy sled. Very simple definition. So if you've seen a sled, obviously you know what that looks like. But I will say with the word strong and heavy, we're not talking about a small little sled that you would go down on a hill by yourself. We're talking more about a sled that would be pulled by horses, and it would carry, 1 or 2 or more people. So for example, Lewis needed a pair of Clydesdales to pull his sledge through the heavy snow. Clydesdales are draft horses, large horses, if you didn't know what they were. Most sledges were red or black, but Mariah decided to paint her sledge yellow. Banshee. If you've ever heard the phrase, scream like a banshee, you're about to find out what that means. So a banshee is a noun, and it's a female spirit like ghost, you might say, in Gaelic folklore, whose appearance or wailing or crying warns a family that one of them will die soon. So A, Helena thought a banshee was waking her up, but it was just her new alarm clock. So here kind of comparing how a banshee's screaming or wailing would sound to the alarm clock noise that's being made. B, Jared prayed every night that a banshee would not visit his beloved family. And again, he would do that because if you saw a banshee, at least this was the belief in Gaelic folklore, then that meant that somebody in your family was going to pass away. Finally, poultice is a noun. This is a small, usually heated substance, some type of medicine usually, or something that you think is going to work as a medicine, that is spread on a cloth and then placed on the skin to heal a sore or to reduce pain. Olivia made a poultice with aloe and lavender to help soothe her burnt hand. So she would have gathered some aloe, gathered some lavender, mixed those together, maybe cook them down a little bit, put them on a piece of material, and then wrap them around her hand. B, Zed detested the smell of the poultice his mother made for his cut, but he wore it anyways to prevent infection. So those are examples of how you might use the word poultice. They were meant to heal pain or relieve a burn or something like that, or a sore. All right, now you want to reference this video often, and you will want to work on your 10 sentences. These are due by today. Please email me or Parent Square me if you have any questions about this. You can also leave comments on Google Classroom as well.